Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. Electrifying.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the Cannon Podcast and another instant reaction. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2, another win, another clean sheet, 9 wins in a row for the Arsenal. We can do it. Atletico at home, we can do it. Burnley away, we can do it without Jesus, without Havertz, without Odegaard, without Gyokeres, without Madueke. George, we're so good. Like, we're so good.
Mate, it's just one of those where you just want to do like a little sweet tune now. Just like a little calm, just like step in place, one of those, just a little finger snap because we coasted. And if I'm being honest, that second half was turgid. Just a real kind of turgid. Have you ever heard that? Like just
turgid.
A really turgid.
Did you say turgid in Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, we say turgid. All right.
Turgid. Oh, okay. Well, I could be very wrong, by the way, but pulling a Rohan. But yes, it was a very difficult second half watch that was clearly in first gear. And it was one of those where it's like, it's a leg saver. You know what I mean? And you take your moments. But some of the play in that first half was just absolutely brilliant, to be honest with you. And it was a good game. Like I was just happy. Cruise control. I know people may want the minute 1 to 90, but that's not how leagues are won in this league. And, you got to pick your moments. That there's going to be days in which you throw away half. But really, I never felt under pressure from it. And it was, it's one of those where you're sitting there saying, Bukayo Saka could have maybe had a hat trick, a very odd performance in which you get kind of goals and assists. And, he had plenty of opportunities and just fairly wasteful, to be honest with you. But but that didn't matter. And I mean, I remember a time in which we depended for our life for a Saka goal and assist to get us through matches. So that could be an example of the process.
Yep. For me, headline, another one. Because it's just record after record after record. We are 0 shots on target conceded against West Ham at home, 0 shots on target conceded against Fulham, 0 shots on target conceded against Crystal Palace. And again, Burnley away, 0 shots on target conceded. I've got a few more here. Here we are. 8 from 8, 1 goal conceded. Declan Rice, some crazy numbers today. 5 Premier League wins in a row. This Arsenal side now matched George Graham's famous team, who hold the club record for the most successive wins without conceding in all competitions. 7 between September and October 1987. The last time there was some stat about, us winning. The last time happened was against, Mikel Arteta was in the midfield. All this stuff comes out because we are in this just ridiculous form. And it just feels like another kind of, similar to that West Ham game a couple of weeks ago where I think we kind of sat in the interaction. We're like, look, no one's going to look back and remember this game in 10 years' time. Mm-hmm. But it's just one of those games you need to win and need to perform like that to win the league. And I'm so confident as I come to you for your headline. I've never been this confident about winning the league. And even if I look back to when I last thought Arsenal could win the league, let's say in 23-24, there was so many other factors. I was sort of going, I kind of have to pull you a bit of a picture. I think we're going to win it, but it requires this. And I think we can do that. And if this happens, with this, mate, I think 3-4 more things could go wrong than they even have done, and I still think we'd win because we're so resilient as a side. We're so bought in. The thing for me, and I'll try and bring this up quickly, that is going to win is the league, and that's the reason I'm so confident. Is this, as I should have just pulled up before, it's the buy-in, and I've talked about this before. But at the very end, Burnley had a chance. Can you see that on my screen? Mm-hmm. Burnley had a chance, a breakaway chance. And this is in the 94th. We're over the 94th minute. Mm-hmm. We're 2-0 up. We're away at Burnley. We're absolutely in cruise control. And that is the commitment to running back and stopping a counter-attack. That's why I'm so convinced that this team, no matter what happens, even, had another supposed injury today, although I think Gyokeres might have been all right in the end because he was sat on the bench. But, 5 attacking players out, we still turn up, we still do that, and we still commit in that way. And, mate, we're just unbelievable. Gives you a headline.
Declan Rice, what a freaking player. We say it a lot, but that was one of his best performances that I've seen for us. He was somebody that epitomized not getting out of second gear, but just being everywhere. And I thought we did a really interesting thing today with the pivot in general, where he was the one anchoring the midfield a little bit more than Zubimendi. And I have a feeling that was very intentional, not just from a Burnley type of opponent, but also to save legs of Zubimendi, who we've been kind of trying to give as much rest as we can as he's looking to adapt to this kind of schedule. And Declan Rice, oh God, how many times do you sit there as a football fan base and you see a major transfer and him be worth every penny, or feel like it's a discount at £100 million? He was so good. It wasn't just, him being available kind of in the first phase. It wasn't just his ability to kind of spray passes in terms of diagonals and really spreading play and opening us up. It wasn't just the normal kind of defensive performance in which we accustomed to, that he's just an absolute stud, in open spaces. This is just a guy that I think is going from strength to strength. And like you say, kind of in the dying embers of the game, he's the one that when there's no options on, he'll just say, screw it, I'll take it on my own and I'll take it length of the field. There aren't many players that I have seen consciously able to do that. Like, they actively get you out of a situation in your defensive third. They're under pressure and they're like, okay, I'm going to keep carrying. I'm going to juke and, beat my first man. Okay, there's nothing on in the second man. I'll beat him as well. I'll keep running because I've got the power and the endurance and the ability and the carry to continue that and to keep going 30, 40 yards just to get you up the pitch. It is truly incredible. And I don't know, I think we always praise him, but my headline is Declan Rice was a discount.
Yeah, he's just Mikel used the phrase a total player, I think, the other day in the press conference, and he's a total player. He has every aspect of his game, and you're right. You see so many players, whether it's I'm not doing the comparison, but the Caicedo or whatever you want to do, and you see, they pop in certain areas of their game, but they can't link it all together. Declan has absolutely everything. And then even off the pitch stuff, the availability, the leadership and stuff. Sometimes you have a player who's everything on the pitch and they're not quite, the right guy for the culture, whatever. He is the culture. He is the player. He's just extraordinary. Let's talk first half. Probably the better of the two halves from our perspective. But I think you're right in terms of the second half. I think it just felt like a bit of a, I doubt Mikel said go out there and coast, but there was probably an element of like, look, we can just sit in a little bit more. I just thought we were excellent. I thought that midfield balance feels really right at the minute. I think I want to highlight Eze specifically in that first half, playing more like a true 10. I think Burnley had had the two, and it was a lot of Gyokeres dropping in or Eze dropping in and taking that ball and playing around the corners and stuff. And he was finding himself in little pockets, really sharp, really nice. Also want to highlight Trossard, who I thought was excellent, especially first half. It was really, really good. You see him on the team sheet and you kind of go like, not that you're surprised, but you're a bit like, okay, like we're carrying on with Trossard. Like, that probably was a call. But at the minute, he's like one of our most efficient players. Technically, that ball goes to him. You get something out of it. Every time the ball goes to Trossard, even if he loses it, he delays them releasing it. You get so much bang for your buck with Trossard, which I absolutely love. And I just thought we were absolutely dictating it and controlling it. And for me today, it was all the little tweaks. It was all the sort of little things. I said this in a recent video on my channel on Different Knock. Like, I don't think there's been like wholesale changes, and maybe we would sort of said before the season.
I don't know if people can see or hear Alex, but I think he might have been a little pause. Okay, go ahead, buddy.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's what I could hear you the whole time. I could see you the whole time. I would. But yeah, it was all for me. It was like all the little tweaks. It was whether it was Rice at the base of things or Merino and Calafiori with a little bit more sort of quality on the inside and the freedom to go there. With Gyokeres as well in terms of that sort of threat in behind, just giving us a little bit more shot volume, that freedom from Eze. It's all the little things that have shifted from last season that I felt really helped us today, especially in that first half. And it just makes us such a unpredictable team with so many sides. And then, of course, we have our set piece threat as well. So there's so many ways we can win.
Yeah, he's really he comes in moments where I think Trossard is really odd, because there's times when his technical efficiency is kind of like at 99% and it's brilliant. And then there's other games in which you might not see it and not everything comes off. But for me, he's somebody that keeps going. And that battle with Kyle Walker was actually just brilliant to see, not from a neutral, really but just in general. I thought that 1v1 misunderstanding there was kind of just, brilliant, because we kept going to him. And then, Kyle Walker was trying to give him a little bit. And I like that Trossard's a little bit nasty as well, like leaving stuff on him. And that was just a really good for me, wholesome battle, to be honest. It's just an example of a really good matchup. And then I think in the first half as well, Gyokeres had a brilliant first half. I think one of his better 45s that we've seen. And, it just grew from the goal, right? Like, I think the first 10 minutes collectively as a team, we both, Burnley and us, struggled, but especially us, to really impose our game. And then after that 10-minute mark, set piece goal opens it up, and Burnley get a little bit defeated. But then we started doing some really brilliant stuff, mate. Like, it wasn't just, okay, the set piece goal is the reason that we've now opened up as a team. It was a consequence of us kind of beating Burnley and getting a little bit more confidence and putting our foot on the ball. Zubamendi started spraying through the lines, pushing the ball back, kind of trying to go over the top of the last line, allowing Gyokeres to run into the spaces he wants to run into. Yep. And then that stretching motion just pushed the Burnley line a little bit deep, because actually I thought Scott Parker set up Burnley very bravely, took a lot of leaves out of Glasner's kind of code book, if you will, and put his defensive line quite high. I don't know what Burnley's defensive line height is as an average. To me, it looked high in this game. I don't remember it being that high when I, caught match of the day highlights or anything like that. So that was interesting. And they met us as well in the press. They were quite man to man with us as well, which I thought was quite interesting. And you did mention how Eze was a little bit closer to Gyokeres, and I think that really helped, not just Gyokeres, but it helped us in terms of kind of going through Eze, not necessarily as a major passing outlet, but a wall pass to break. Eze was really cute in tight spaces, being able to drop in, overload, play it off to the side, create a solution. And to be honest with you, they kept fouling him in that first half because they couldn't live with him. Eze was really, really brilliant in many, many moments. But yeah, it was collectively a very good performance after that goal that I think wasn't just a set piece opening. And I'll end on this. There was a really interesting quote. I think it was from Maresca, actually, if I'm honest. It was I had read something along the lines of, when he talked about a set pieces, we can't be isolating it into offensive and defensive, because what predates a set piece? An open play, passage of play. And it's so true. I mean, we look and we isolate the dead ball delivery, but the idea and the kind of pressure you put on your opponent leading up to those set pieces is what it is. And I said a post kind of earlier on in the week, mate. I said Anfield crowd, Fergie time, Arsenal set piece aura. And I think I got a little bit of flack. But honestly, mate, it's getting to a point where there's genuine psychological fear from the mere presence of it. So yeah, we know it. We got clowned for it being a major part of our attacking play. Cool, no problem. I'm seeing teams panic at the very first one from it, generally speaking. And it's becoming a psychological weapon, home or away, that people start losing their heads with. And the commentate, and you know what? It's feeding into it. When the narrative that it's only us. Well, you know what? When it happens, you start shining a light on the monster. People don't like it. And I'm noticing it becoming a little bit of a presence within opposition, where they're making mistakes because they don't even want us to have a set piece to begin with. And that in itself is power.
Yeah, and that's where probably I would agree. Narrative, sort of, this is such a big narrative. This is bleeding into things, and I think we are seeing the benefit of that. Maybe I don't agree in other areas, but I definitely agree in this one. And I think it's a massive strength. And I also think, well, firstly, not to bang the drum, but again, I've made this point many times, the football world. No, the real football world, Enzo Maresca, Scott Parker, Oliver Glasner, the guys who actually make a difference are all like, no, what they're doing with set pieces is incredible. Who cares what Jamie O'Hara thinks, as I'll say many, many times, but it's yet another person who's actually in the football world who understands what we're doing. It's also, and we've mentioned this many times, it's such a sustainable way of scoring, but it's also a sustainable way of breaking games open. I remember there was a period it felt like the only player who could break games open was Bukayo Saka. Raheem Sterling was great for this with City back in the day. He was always the person with the first assist, the first goal, whatever. And you have players who can just sort of break games for you, and it feels like our game breaker. And it is I couldn't design a more consistent one, because you're going to get crosses, you're going to corners, you're going to get set pieces. So if we can do that, it's just a great way of living our kind of game model. A couple more things just before we move on to maybe some more individuals on the second half, especially. Burnley I thought were great. And I know people are going to clown me for it. I've tweeted it, and I've already seen people go, "What? Burnley are great." No, mate, they're a really good team. And if I go through individually, I thought Dubravka had a really good afternoon, a couple of great moments. Saka probably should have scored, but it was a really good save from Dubravka. Walker and Trossard was really interesting to watch. I thought Ugachukwu, with a Declan Rice in that form, to deal with him as well as he did, I think was fair play to him. Fleming looks good so far this season already. I thought he had a couple of decent moments. Jaden Anthony. And the one I want to pick out is Esteve. Well, I don't know exactly how you say his name. Esteve. He did really well. Really well up against Bukayo Saka, probably the victor of the two. So and I think you're right in terms of the setup. They were brave. They were quite expansive in their passing. Yeah, I think Scott Parker's a really, really good coach. Let's move on to some sort of individuals before we come to your super chats and the stats and stuff. And I do want to highlight him, George, Victor Gyokeres, because this is the sort of stuff. This is the game. We're just saying what we see. And when we see quality, like we saw today, I'm more than happy to praise Victor Gyokeres because he did exactly all the stuff that we've been calling for. The proper hold-up play, the being able to set himself before he brings other people into play. That pass for Trossard was lovely. He was wriggling in and out of tight spaces. He looked like a player renewed just for a week off. And, I do not care how they go in. The fact that it was 0.3 of a meter, whatever it was from goal, I'm absolutely fine with that. He was in that position. Those sorts of games, it's amazing to see him do that in the Premier League and go, so you've got that in your locker. That, to me, I would sit down with Mikel Arteta and I'd say, so when you're fit, when you're on it, you can give me that. Give me that again and again and again. Let's work to get you fit enough, in form enough, in cahoots enough with the guys around you to be able to produce that again. Because that game, for me, that first 45, that's the best I think I've ever seen Gyokeres play. Forget the goals and forget the goal record. In a Sporting shirt or an Arsenal shirt, that's the best I've ever seen him work as a centre forward. So big ups to him.
It's just about leaning into your strengths, where if channel running is a strength for you, you need to be the reason the line gets pushed back, right? And we have really adopted our play to kind of play to him, and that's what I got very excited about, because the hold up, I think I've talked about it like ad nauseum in terms of like what the difference is in terms of what he needs to do. And it's just work, right? It's just work on the training pitch to be able to set yourself up and kind of change some of your mechanics in that way. That will come, I'd hope, with a lot more work on the training ground. It was for me the intelligence in the running, but then the strength in the running. And being able to do it both sides of the pitch and really being an option, and not just running for running's sake, but running to penetrate. And there was a lot more of that. And running for running's sake can seem harsh as a conclusion, but it running to penetrate is a very different intention when you're dragging center backs as opposed to just pulling wide. And I think that far too often in previous games, he's pulled wide, which is fine, but it doesn't really stress the defensive opposition as much. You can change your opposition marker when someone pulls wide, quote unquote. But when he's running with intent and he's running to be found, and he's pushing the line back, that's when, okay, now you're starting to open up spaces. Now when Eze starts going with you, Eze becomes an option because you've ran through the channel so aggressively and you've been doing a brilliant job at that, and you're holding up play and you're being an option that teams are now threatened with. They can't keep their line back. They want to drop back, and that naturally just improves the space in the pockets for our pocket players. And you start opening horizontally and vertically and all that fun stuff that I like to say. And that's the good thing. So I think he was brilliant. And then I don't think it's a really big injury, to be honest with you. I think it's just concussion safety protocol, to be honest, because he took a pretty nasty elbow at the end of the 45. So I think it was a little bit more like that. But more fitness, more time in which he's not doing this constantly for 90 minutes every 3 days. You're going to get more time to more aggressively run the channels, and that's what we do.
And that's why we've said so many times that Havertz being out has been the biggest issue, because if he can give that for 45 minutes, you can see that, and you can see the quality that he can bring. So, fair play to him. Let's move on to the numbers from Scott Willis. He's back. 2.5 expected goals to 0.8, 2 goals to 0, 12 shots to 3, 0 on target for them, 7 for us. 5 open play shots to their 1, 53.8% possession to their 46.2. Passes completed. Burnley pretty close to us, looking pretty good in terms of the numbers they're picking up there. 18 deep touches to our 29, 15 zone 14 touches then to our 19. I think they were a little bit closer, certainly second half, than we might have wanted them to be. There's a running XG across the match. I thought the first sort of 10 to 12 minutes or so, we weren't quite at the races, and Burnley looked really, really good. But then we sort of settled into the game. Again, broke that game open with that set piece, and then it kind of went from there. There's the shot map. Probably a couple of those from Bukayo Saka that he should have buried. Maybe we'll have a little discussion about him. I'm not in any way concerned by Bukayo Saka. I'm just trying to plot a map back to him being the Bukayo Saka we know and love, because I think there's a little bit of a discussion there. And there's the numbers. The field tilt was far too close. 51.9 to 48.1. Get this manager at. He might not have lost for 12 games, but I want him out. Yeah, that's alarming. There we go. I sort of mentioned it there, George, and it's so I have to be so cautious that people will like. No, I don't care. People, if you want to take this in the way that it's not meant, then fine.
So what you're saying,
exactly. I'm not worried about Bukayo Saka at all. He's not quite been in the form that we know he can be. What do you see as the next steps? Because he will take them. But basically, what is going to happen with Bukayo Saka to get him back in form?
These games, like these exact games, like minutes in his belt. And like I remember saying to somebody in a group chat that I really wanted him to start Brighton. And people were like, what do you mean? Like, he's played so much. I'm like, no. He has come back off a major injury. He needs to get through his mechanics again. And he's a little bit stop-start. He had a stop-start entry to the season. So he's going to have games like this. His finishing was just really poor. Like, there's no two ways about it. You know, like the movement is brilliant. And the way that he's finding space is completely brilliant. And he's Bukayo Saka. So, I mean, his first touch is going to be brilliant. His efficiency is going to be brilliant. And, you know, he's not going to be somebody that you're going to look at and be like, oh, that's bad. That's bad for like what? Maybe, 1% of players worldwide. But, he's going to have some of these games in which he's working through the motions. I don't ever have advice for Bukayo more than we're going to see more games like this until he'll arrive at the place that we all know him to be. And he just needs that rhythm and that match fitness and that ability to be stressed. Because I think, yes, Estev, and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that, had a brilliant game. But I also think it was a little bit because Saka was just not on his finishing boots. Like, I think if 2 or 3 of those come in, we're probably saying, like, Estev did well, but he got
back. If he scores that goal, we're going, Saka's back. So.
Yeah. So it's margins, and I think he knows it. And yeah, I don't need to tell him, because this is a guy that I had a little debate about Bukayo Saka's ball striking, and people were like, "Is his ball striking poor?" I'm like, no. Anybody with that consistency of delivery off corners has brilliant ball striking, but I mean, his execution can be off. He can have a bad game, and he can be out of sorts in a rhythm sense. Those can all be true. And I kind of think he's just working himself into like the top flow. For example, I'll say, I had mentioned to you previously, Fulham this year, that was for me the first time I had seen Bukayo in top flow this year. I thought he was brilliant that day. But today, yeah, he looked a little off. But again, it's just brilliant that this team becomes something else and doesn't rely on Saka. That's probably the only thing I'll end on. We have built, and by the way, Saka is afforded these bad games. That kid has had nearly a good game every single freaking match since he's been introduced in 2018. And I'm sorry, I'm glad our team is good enough to allow him to have a meh day. And you know what? Yeah. That just makes me happy, because he deserves it more than anyone.
if the guy went, actually, I'm going to have 2 months off, I'll be like, fair enough. Yeah. Like, you've been so good. Like, it's sort of fair enough. So yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, look, and the problem is we look at the goal record. I think he's only 1 open play goal this season against Leeds, and we go, oh, whatever. But we all know there's going to be a period. It's probably going to be in the next, maybe within a week or 2, he'll start to pick up some numbers, and we're going to look back in January and go, wait, Bukayo Saka has 15 GA or whatever. So it's going to happen. I just think it's playing himself into form a little bit. Let's come to your super chats. Thank you all so much for joining us on the post-match stream. We are here after every single Arsenal game. Unless we can't find anyone. Gabby says, nice win, clean sheet, and Blue Jays in 7. I don't know what that means.
Come on, Gabby. It's the World Series for baseball. And
awesome.
Yeah, it's 3-3. So yes, I was downtown actually, in the stadium, and they freaking lost. So I had to go home with my tail between my legs. But big game today.
Damn, dog. You want a corn dog, dude? How's my accent?
It's not bad.
I'd fit right in, mate.
Yeah.
Harry says, this is a moment where we could honestly be 10 to 15 points ahead on top before Christmas. Mental. Yeah, let's Harry, do you know what, mate? We're going to have a look at the league table because it's a beautiful sight right now. Let's get past the Prince Andrew headlines. Give me a second. Share the screen. Here we are. Arsenal are top. There was a moment earlier on today, George, where it was kind of my dream, where Man United were second, Bournemouth were third, and Arsenal were first. Do you know what I mean? It's my three teams. Top by 7 points. Obviously, Bournemouth haven't played yet, but it's just so funny that we were having a conversation about Bournemouth. But anyway, I cannot tell, because I'm from, I can't. We were close to not even being a club. That there was people going around Bournemouth Town Centre with those like charity bucket collection things, being like, "Have you got any money?" And I remember walking past someone being like, "No, Bournemouth." That was second in the Premier League, mate. It's crazy. United in fifth, City in sixth, Palace in seventh. A club called Liverpool, I think, in ninth. It's just a beautiful sight, man. And 8-1, 1 drawn, 1 lost, 4-18 against 3. We haven't even discussed that yet, George. 3 goals conceded. I honestly, I know we've joked about the record and we said how crazy it would be, but I don't know how we're going to concede, let's say, 12 more goals in like the next couple of, in say before March or something. I can't see us conceding 12 goals before like the run-in.
I just don't know. Every time, I don't know. Every time I think about the record, I'm like, you're an idiot for thinking about it.
Yeah, same. I'm like,
I mean?
no, it's stupid. Yeah.
Like, I can't, and I don't want to breathe life into it. It's one of those where I think every time I hear an Invincibles documentary, the players didn't even conceive it until April. Arsene was the one that was really pushing everything, right? And it seems like one of those records that you don't conceive until you're in April and you're like, holy shit, we're still there and we're still in this. Like, we've got to lock it. And it's just, there's so much to go. But I don't know. Like, when you have people defending the way that we are in the 95th minute, it's not a surprise we're here. But at the same token, it's a surprise we're here. Like, how are we even discussing this at this point? It's brilliant. And like, when I look at the league table, the one thing I'll see is, I think if you were to take a poll of 10 Arsenal fans, I only honestly think 1 or 2 would say that we're in full flow, quote unquote.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is what I feel is so key about this difference. Like, we have sat there to build a moat on really a pretty small injury crisis. Like, if we're talking honestly about the amount of forwards that are out and the bit like Gyokeres now, like, we're just pulling through games in second gear, creating a moat whilst ourselves being stop-start. And it's incredible. It truly is incredible. I mean, we're going into a really busy period and we need this moat, but it's not, you shouldn't just let it go and just accept it as, oh, that's great.
you know? No, 100%. And how many times last year we talk about fine margins, or whatever. Let's say that Gabriel goal gets ruled out at St James's Park. Let's say the Trossard one doesn't happen against Fulham and the Eze one doesn't happen against Palace. And let's say Liverpool were in much better form. We'd be neck and neck, right? And that's literally tiny little, it's a corner, it's an Eze moment that we bought in for that we didn't have last season. It's all these tiny little moments. We would be spending, or certainly there's an alternative reality where I would be spending half the time going, but guys, we haven't got Madueke, we haven't got Havertz, we haven't got Gyokeres, we haven't got Odegaard and stuff. But we're not even talking about that. Like, it's taken us 28 minutes to mention 5 attacking players out. 28 minutes before we even said that. Actually, I think I might have said it in the opening. But you know what I mean? Like, as a serious conversation point. Like, it is amazing the level that we come to. And also, even with Gyokeres out, I was like, we'll be all right. We'll be fine because we'll find a way. We will find a way. And that's the confidence that I have in this team right now, which is just amazing. I also want to share this because I think to contextualize how much better we've got this season. So this is from Mark Stats. This is allowed threat from live balls. This is proper niche, isn't it? And allowed XG from open play. And you can see basically the sort of the difference. So the tail is last season and the circle is this season. We were already the best team in the league. So look at every other tail. Probably Liverpool were closest to us in terms of the last season. How much they've regressed is crazy. But how much better, and how much also as a linear perspective, perspective, it's just literally gone like that way. That is incredible to see, and no one else apart from maybe Tottenham in that situation, I think has a longer tail than us. Maybe Liverpool in terms of regression, but in terms of progression, maybe Newcastle. But it's just crazy, mate.
It's insane, and I don't want to go past Liverpool. Like when people start saying, like, we have won the league. Like when I look at all of those charts and you look at it, it was through good play from Arsenal. It wasn't just a given between all this. It's not, for them to regress that much. It is stark. It is indicative. They've regressed as much as Tottenham have improved in terms of their trajectories when you look at it, right? And that's the difference in this league. You can't do that. And where are Tottenham? It's reflected in the table. And so, look, I truly feel that in all, your season performance and output is the best representation of who you are. And we are excelling. We are excelling. We have a way to go. I think what excites me is, again, like we've highlighted, we do have all these injuries, not as an excuse to stop us from getting points, but more so to stop us from seeing the potential of this team. Like, I really wonder, when you got all of those 5 guys back from an attacking sense, and after the international break and people are back, what does this team look like?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing an incredible team already in the confidence I've got. And I don't know, mate, like maybe we do see something going forward because, we talk about all that, Gabby Jesus coming back in December. There's a lot of talent. And I'm sitting there thinking, we're going to get to a point in which we have a quarterfinal, semifinal Champions League match, and they will be fit. There's going to be big names that don't come. And that is a
squad.
big, I don't know when that decision's going to happen. And we haven't quite had it yet. Like, we've still had room to have Max Dowman on the bench. But we're going to get to a point in which we're going to struggle to field our, very wealthy squad options. And it's coming. It's coming soon. And it's starting to feel like a City squad. That's probably the best like compliment that I can give it. The Centurion City squad, the type of squad that you look at and their second team can be top 4 in the league. And, I've been saying some pretty crazy things on my own Twitter when I look at it, like Hincapié and Mosquera. I think, what does that rank as center back partnerships in the world? You let that breathe. What is that?
Give that like even 6 months playing together. What does that look like? Yeah,
it's incredible. It is incredible. And so, like the second team could compete in the Premiership at this point, and that's probably the biggest praise that I can give. The squad.
Yeah, I did. I posted something the other day about like how we didn't have these players back, and I was getting loads of Liverpool fans going, Martin Odegaard, this doesn't make your team better. He was our player of the season. He's our captain. He was our player of the season twice. Like, okay, maybe he's not in his best moment. Maybe he's not the most important. But to pretend that he's not going to make us any better it's just a lie. It's just not the case. Sam Cope, are you a Liverpool fan? Great result, boys. Back 5 standard performance. Rice was a monster. Gyokeres best 45. Less said about that. Merino 45. The better. Yeah, it wasn't great, Merino.
Wasn't great. Had one moment with the back heel to release Norgard later on.
He loves it.
That was probably like that's such a Merino performance, though, isn't it? Like, if that had scored, and if we were at a drawn state, we'd be like Merino again with a vital contribution after being fairly mid for 45 minutes. He's going to be. I think Merino's probably my biggest miss from an analytics standpoint. When I first watched him, he was somebody that I think I'm learning and is evolving more. And I don't know if it's just him as the player, but he's a very unique player. And I had a very different idea of him having watched film and what he would be coming in. And he's grown to be something completely different. Like, this is a guy that I truly feel shouldn't belong in the first and second phase of our team. Really exclusively should be in the final third. And that's just not like, I didn't have an Aaron Ramsey-esque interpretation of him, so it was, he's a player I'm always fascinated to learn because I think he's one of my personal analytical misses.
But he's so weird. It's sort of fair that you missed it, like, and everyone else really, like everyone did really. I it's so odd. But again, this is, I think sometimes when, Mikel like jokes about watching Mosquera's brother, and you're like, haha, and then you're like, oh no, he actually plays youth football for Spain, and you're like, okay, this these guys are a whole other level to like what we're actually watching. Harish Calafiori is a dynamite of a player, mate. Do you know what it is about Calafiori? Yes, he's always had the aura, but I think he's got a new level of confidence, certainly in the final third, and a level of he feels less rushed in the final third. Do you remember the first like season or so? He was showing us some stuff in the final third, but it felt less. It felt less put together, but specifically the speed of action was what it was like like he was always getting stuff off really quickly. Now he's building attacks with Trossard down that side and standing in really nice positions, and he just feels like he's found his groove. It's like he's not trying to prove himself anymore, which I think is great from his perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a bit of like a young guy with a lot of talent coming to prove his name that he then got injured, and so
shouldn't you be in the post match, by the way?
Yeah, I'm gracing the Cannon podcast with my presence. He's brilliant, and I actually think from a Calafiori perspective, there is nobody like him too. He's also an enigma in terms of the type of player that you recruit. There's a lot of enigmas that we've recruited, and he's one of them. And the impact that it's had on Miles and about, that type of season, there's a lot of people maybe debating the split between minutes because, again, by the way, it's like the second time that Capierre has been the substitute for Calafiori. And I'm really starting to ask questions whether Miles has made a more permanent move to midfield, which is more of my hope in terms of the squad depth charts. But in looking at what Calafiori can give us, I also feel like he's somebody that is benefiting also from the continued partnership of Trossard. Like that's now, how many times has Calafiori started for Arsenal with the same left wing partner and same midfield partner for more than 3 games?
No.
I don't know the answer. I feel like we always make these types of hypotheticals, but it would surprise me to have more than once.
Royan and I did this the other night with the front 3. And then he somehow remembered every front. Did you watch? He somehow remembered every front.
Some of it, but I don't know if I got that part.
It was a little bit later. He remembered every front 3 we played so far this season. I was like crazy, but we literally had 2 sets of 2 games. We played the same front 3. Yeah. So it can't, and across his career with how much he's been in and out, it is massive. I mean, one of the only ways we could attack for a period of time was Saka, Odegaard, and White. Like you have to build up that chemistry. So yeah, he's been superb. Fixmer gives us a super sticker. Thank you so much. Presume that's from Canada. Aya Gumede says, seems like Mikel needed Gyokeres to force a tweak, which in turn gave us a new dynamic in attack. Discussed this a little bit earlier, but I think he's beginning, and we did say this, like at some point, probably by November, December, we'll see the changes. Because when did he come in, Gyokeres?
Late July, I want to say.
Yeah. I think he's a player
was linked for a while, but like him in was like late July, I thought.
Yeah. He's giving he needs a preseason type of player specifically for this. And I think, I just, for me, the best use of Gyokeres, especially in these early months, would have been as a sort of tag team with Havertz. I think we sort of saw it today with the freshness.
I think just to wrap it up, like the vertical aspect of Arsenal tweaking that thing from being incredibly controlled possession to just slightly more vertical and deciding when we had to do that was something that probably was, inspired by things like Gyokeres, Madueke, and the types of forwards that we've recruited. But I think it was also a game state change that we all had kind of asked for at some point, and it would improve the efficiency of our transitions. So together, it's just great that Mikel is showing that flexibility to his tactics, right? Like that's probably going to be one of the biggest pros that if we had asked ourselves what we needed to change in preseason, I'm pretty sure it was top of the list for all of us in terms of Mikel being a little bit more flexible to that.
Definitely. Matt G says, when were we lost 10 points ahead of Liverpool? I don't know, and I would love to know because I can't imagine it's been
the year before when they were in third. Probably that's about it, and even then it was probably later in April at that point because they were pretty close up until March, and then we pulled away if I remember correctly that year.
No, it's a good question. I don't know, but it can't have been many times in the last 10, 15 years.
No.
Amazing. Anthony B says, if Jays win the World Series tonight, then I'm convinced Arsenal will win the PL. Also, George, hook a brother up with tickets tonight, please.
Brother, if I had tickets, I wouldn't be giving them away. Do you know that like some of those tickets, by the way, I don't know, just so you know, Alex, like I'm not even a big baseball fan, but they're going for thousands of dollars. Like, which is insane. It's insane. Yeah. Because Toronto is specifically has not had a winning sports team in forever, bar the Raptors, which is a very big anomaly. We are one of those teams that, you know, everyone says we'll win every year and we don't. So to have a team that's like in the final of something, the whole city is like going behind. So it's been insane.
What is baseball? What? So you get 3 goes, they throw it at you, you hit it, and if it's a home run, what happens? And then you run round, and then you get a point for running
unchallenged, and you get a point for running around a diamond. And if
you hit it out?
If you hit it out of like, if you hit it in terms of a home run, it's called.
Yeah.
And so you get to run to home, hence home run.
It's just a guaranteed point.
It's a guaranteed point. There's no, and so they try to just hit it. I honestly don't know. The one thing I will say is baseball is probably the only professional sport anybody's build can accept it as the most accepting athletic build. Because they've got a lot of power. There's a lot of thinking involved. It's not a sport that I know very well, but it's like you'll see this guy Alex Kirk, for example. He's a little bit overweight, and you're like, how is he an athlete? But
he's got the boom.
He's got the boom. He brings the boom.
Does the system tweak suit Havertz's strengths better? I think we'll see a big shift when Havertz plays. I think we'll see how we can play differently with him, and I think we'll see the wingers running in behind a lot more, and probably players like Saka and Martinelli will thrive a bit more with Havertz. I think that's probably why we're sticking with Trossard at the minute with Gyokeres.
I definitely think it suits Havertz. Like I think people have been kind of misremembering Havertz in 2 phases. There was the Havertz run in the end of the season in which we all said like he's been brilliant in terms of output, right? Then there was the run in which to start the next season, Havertz had to play in Odegaard's position and really peel right.
Yeah.
I think that's really misinterpreted people because he was doing that intentionally because we didn't have Odegaard. So really to fill in that spot, he was having to do those things. Naturally, he is a channel runner. I mean, Mikel wanted him famously for that left 8 to go and beyond. I think being more vertical will definitely suit Havertz. It will definitely bring out qualities that, he's wanted to show. They're just going to do it in different ways. And it's about how you push the line back and where the ultimate destination is. So, for example, for me, the ultimate destination with Gyokeres is space. For Havertz, it could be him to backboard. It could be him to hit in the box from an aerial duel, right? Like the destination isn't the space for Havertz. It's the player himself. But they both stretch. They both will thrive in open spaces, and they both will thrive from a more vertical style of play.
Yeah. And I think as an aerial target as well, I think we'll add something there. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Anthony B says, shout out Jay Brickman from Crescent.
Oh, really?
Does that mean anything to you?
Damn, I do know him, I think. I think he was a year above me, Jonathan Brickman, I think, from Crescent School, which is my high school. Wow, we're really getting personal here. What's crazy is I played like a little bit of intramural sports, and I found somebody that was a fan of the pod. It's just very strange.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was incredible. And I was just like, wow, really? Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I didn't realize that in the depths of Canada, we had those connections. I'm sure in the UK, you must get that a lot. But Canada and Toronto was like, what?
Well, you got recognized.
Yeah. And
let's fucking go.
And he's like, dude, I listen to every podcast. And I'm like,
oh,
what? Oh, thank you.
What's his name?
He's like a Greek guy. His name is Christakakos, and so I told him that I would give you a little bit of a shout out. But insane. Wow. Hi, Jonathan Brickman from Crescent.
Crazy. Vivek says we had 11 goals conceded after game week 10 in 24-25. Why does this season feel so different? I'm not afraid of bottling. I love Arteta. I love you guys. We love you too, Vivek. 11 goals. I mean, 11 goals conceded after game week 10. It doesn't even sound that much, does it? But or maybe it is. Anyway, I think I said it at the top of the show. Like, it just feels so sustainable what we're doing. I don't look at this system, and I'm not saying we're not going to lose. I'm not saying we're going to have days or whatever, but everything that is going right isn't like, it's not like freak long shots or like one person playing out of his skin. It's stuff you can do over and over and over again and repeatable, and players having amazing seasons because they're amazing players, not because of a sort of freak moment or the way they're being used or whatever it might be. I can't see anyone stopping us.
Do you know what it's getting to the point of? I remember saying this a lot last season, that our best players need to recognize themselves to be the superstars that they are. They need to believe them to be it. There is a real big aura of not just the superstars, but the team recognizing how good it is, where it's not like punching up to compete and like, oh no, we're here, like ironically deserving the praise, but just knowing you're good. And then there's a certain expectation in which there's no more pressure. Like, I really think that there's a difference between trying to aspire to be good. Like, I feel it now in my job, you know, the first month or two, I was like, oh, I hope I'm good enough. I hope I'm doing everything well enough. And, you know, I am good, but I'm not recognizing like the pursuit of that isn't. And then, you know, I had a really great opportunity at a conference, which was brilliant. And after that point, I've like calmed down literally in the last week. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I did well in this. And I don't need to prove, like, I know I'm good. And I feel like the team is doing that this year, where it's good. Let's be honest. It's been through several title runs and title chases. And it's the point where everyone says you must win. But I think the squad also is like, no, we must win.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with what everyone's telling me in terms of that. It is more to do with, I am so confident in my own abilities. I'm more disappointed if things don't work out because I know what I'm worth, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And they've been given, I agree with that. And I think they've been given absolutely everything. Like, I don't think it's fair. I think there might have been points. I imagine there has been points in the last couple of years where, let's say, a Saka or even a Mikel goes, like, just give me a bit more help. They don't have that this year. And I think you can feel that sense of like, okay, we have everything we need. We can fully commit to this. And yeah, that's certainly coming through. Oogie Boogie says, baseball is just PKs and tag with a ball and bat.
Pounding kicks, I guess. Plus attack.
Awesome. Baseball. We'll finish there.
Is America impressions just like singular words shouted out?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. What
America, baseball,
America,
boom,
NASCAR. I want to go see NASCAR. It sounds really fun. Everyone wearing those wraparound shades, and everyone's called like John and
Chad, or like
Chad,
Josh or something.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Josh McMurr. I love NASCAR. Thank you all for joining us on the Instant Reaction. We're just so good, mate. We're so good.
We're so
and good. Also, I'm going to say this. Probably fans of this pod, mostly, not everyone, but like mostly have probably been through the kind of the trenches with Arteta and probably have been in various group chats going, no, trust me.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, because this is the stuff this is the signs that we saw, the game model that back in 2021 when we were on that ridiculous run of that game before the Smith Rowe game and all that sort of like all that stuff. I remember being there going like, no, I can see the potential in this team. I can see the potential in this coach. Just give him time. And it's not been linear, and it wouldn't have been linear. And there's been many, many reasons. And there's been massive errors and mistakes and bad games and bad coaching. Of course there has. But this is the stuff that we always saw coming. This isn't a surprise. This isn't 22-23 where we've gone, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, where's this come from? Even though I would say probably a lot of people would have seen we'd get better, but not that much better that quickly. This is sustainable. This is consistent. This is the coaching. This is the culture that's been implemented from that first day, that first interview when Mikel says, the building the tree, all that stuff. This is the fruits of that. So enjoy it.
Mate, I'm going to drink it in because you know what? It has been an earned victory and an earned process for all of the thing that you want to throw towards it. It has been, it'll be the culmination of a lot. You can tell me more than anybody down there, but I just think Arsenal winning in London, what that will do. And I'm just really excited about what this means for us to finally get over the hill. Because I truly feel, mate, like if we do something special, there is a really sliding doors moment where I remember there was a podcast that I did get clowned and I said I wanted to be the Madrid of England. And I really see that potential with this club. And I just want us to take what is owed to us. Like, we have done the freaking work. Every bloody stat in the last 2 to 3 years, the amount of points we've done, the way this team works. Okay, they deserve it. Now go get it. Like, you are owed what you are owed. Go freaking take this thing and be aggressive. I want them to be really just angry about wanting to win that title every bloody day. Take it into a case. And I know Mikel's like this because he's an obsessive nerd like us. But I want everybody in the football club and every fan to be pulling in that direction, because you know what? We deserve it. We are owed it, and it's not going to be given to us. We have to take it. So take it.
Got to take it. And we've also got a marriage proposal from Lemon U2 Tribute. And with my daughter here, and I try to explain it, you are my dear son-in-law. Big hug. Andres here. Come on, you Gunners. I don't know who that's for, but why not? Why not, eh? Thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate it. Yeah, these are the good times, man. Thank you, George.
Thank you, good sir.
Thank you so much for watching. And thanks, as always, for keeping Arsenal.
Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. This was one kind of queue the ladies thoroughly enjoyed.
Electrifying. Electrifying. Inspiration.